Hey everyone. Okay, so today I want to do my best to answer a question that I know I had when I was going through some really challenging times in my life. And I know I get this question a bit for folks who are also going through a challenging time. So first things first, again, if you need this video, if you're clicking on this video, I am sorry that you're experiencing so much pain right now. I do hope and pray that things start to get better soon. And I'm going to do my best to answer this question for you because this is something that really got me stuck when I was moving through my situation. So first things first is you are not alone in feeling this way. So sometimes if you have a Christian faith, it can feel as though asking this question, why doesn't God take this pain away? Why isn't he moving in this situation? Why isn't he healing me? It can sometimes feel like a lack of faith. Or can sometimes be frowned upon. So it can be hard to ask this question and to feel like you're not being nearly blasphemous in doing so. But it's okay if you feel this way. So for me, and this wasn't even a long time ago that I was reading the book of Job, probably 2 weeks maybe ago, if that tells you anything. So yeah, I was reading the book of Job and I remember calling my mom and I was like, Ma, like Job, first of all, is a much longer book of the Bible than I thought. And I was like, when I've heard the story recounted, it's like, Job lost everything. It was horrible. It was miserable. He never sinned against God. And then God restored him with even more, which is beautiful and accurate. But I was like, Mom, there's like 25 or so chapters where Job took it there. Like Job was having a rough time, as we can imagine. And I'm like, why is that part of the story or that part of the account of Job kind of glossed over? So if you haven't yet, take a look at the book of Job because it can really show how someone, even with an extreme faith, really got to a place where he was deep, dark. And that's okay. That's human. So read it. And he actually asked God essentially like, hey, I'm a decent person. I haven't done anything. Like call the jury, get them in here. If you find some sin in me, then let me know. But I'm doing what you're asking me to do. What gives? I don't deserve this. Why are you allowing this to happen? And God actually answers him, and he basically says, I am God. I see all, I know all. You have a piece of the picture, but you don't have the entire story. And so essentially I'm God and I'm working things the way I'm working things. And as human beings, that is not what we want to hear. That is not a lot of fun. And it can feel like if God's letting this pain go on for months or years or decades even, that he's not listening or he's not even paying attention. But for me, I found that that's absolutely not the case. And so I want to share some of my experiences of why God allows maybe some painful experiences in our lives, why God doesn't just take them away in a blink and in a flash. So for me, I know that it really developed my strength and my stamina. So if everything in your life, you're just kind of skipping through and everything's great, you might not realize where your areas of weakness are because you haven't had to use those muscles. Like you haven't had to use that prayer time. You haven't had to use those scriptures that you know in your head, but you never really felt in your heart. None of that stuff maybe has been used or experienced if you're just kind of skipping through. And so sometimes, even if God doesn't bring the pain to you, he might allow you to endure those things because it really does strengthen and refine who you are as a person. And I always say, when I went through what I went through in 2018, the growth and the transformation in me in those 2.5 years is more than anything I had experienced in the 30, however many years before that combined. Because there is something about pain and there's something about knowing that you have to look up to survive and to make it through that really does refine you in a way that is beautiful and supernatural. Really is the best way to explain it because it doesn't make a lot of sense in the human world or in our physical realm why pain would actually make you stronger, but it can. So for me, I found that it also increased my perseverance. So there's something about long suffering, man. Like it made me able to really say, okay, this is uncomfortable. This is not what I want to be happening. This is not my goal or my dream or my aspiration for myself. But I've been surviving. I've been able to survive this. And wow, look at what God has really done in my life. Like he's allowed me to withstand this pain and this torment. And so if he can keep me through this, then I know he can keep me through, anything else that I might face. So it really helped me to be able to kind of, what's that old song, like run on just a little while longer, something like that. Like songs and stuff hit different when you've been through, when you've been through something, but it really helped me to be able to stay the course. It also, for me, created such a reliance on God. So I don't know about y'all, and I don't know if you can tell this about me. Those of you who know me well probably know this. I am a very type A personality. So I like to plan, I like to schedule, I like to-do lists, I like to organize, and I like to know what's coming, what's going, what's here, what's there, all that good stuff. And when you're experiencing pain and something in life that has just leveled you, you're barely in control of getting up out of the bed in the morning. You're like, I don't know if this is going to be a day where I feel like I can even, get up and go to work, let alone if I can do all these other things. And so for me, the pain really allowed me to have a more true reliance on God, knowing that, hey, my human strength and my human abilities only go so far. God, I am aching, I am hurting, I am uncomfortable. You please step in. This has got to be a you thing. This can't be a me thing. The other thing that I have noticed in terms of pain is that it really helps to develop your gifts. So again, making it out on the other side of your pain, surviving that, it does something in you to where there's a renewed sense of gratitude, there's a renewed sense of faith, there's a renewed sense of everything really on the other side of the storm. And so sometimes when we're going through pain and we wonder, well, why hasn't God taken this away yet? There might be something in us that is a beautiful gift, kind of like a diamond, right? And there's got to be some chiseling and some pressing and some taking away, some cutting away of other things to really have those gifts shine through, to give us the just the joy or the passion or the confidence or whatever it is that we need to allow the gifts within us to shine through, that perhaps wouldn't be there or wouldn't be there as strongly without some sort of testimony about what you've been through and having gotten through that pain. And then another thing for me, and another thing that might be the case for you with maybe why that pain hasn't gone yet or why that hasn't lifted, is really, for me, it helped me start to look beyond only what is happening in this world. So I didn't realize how much I was sleepwalking spiritually. I was so invested in the comings and goings, day-to-day stuff. I got to pay the bills, is my spouse okay? Is this person all right? I got to, take care of this or run this errand or blah, 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 blah. Just all the noise of this world. Pain has a way of leveling you. And then if you allow it, it empties you of all of that stuff and really clears you out so that my focus has got to be on God. Because at any given moment, any of these things that I'm so concerned about could be ripped away. They could be changed. They can be altered forever. And so if I'm only focusing on what's happening down here, this stuff's never going to last, right? And so at times it could be that your pain really is going to help you look higher and really connect to God. And I know some folks who have been through just some horrifying things where I'm like, how in the world did you survive that? And how in the world are you this now? Like, how are you joyful? How are you smiling? How did you not lose your faith, lose sight of who you are? All of that good stuff. And it's because pain, as horrendous as it truly is, there are some great gifts, some hard-won blessings that can come from experiencing pain. And if you don't believe me, please read Job. It's a great book. Read James too. Those two books really helped me quite a bit when I was moving through my pain. It doesn't make it easy. It doesn't make you, skip, through lilies and fields and excited about feeling anguish by any means. But sometimes having a lens to look through that pain with can be helpful. So otherwise we're just kind of aching and hurting and we see no purpose in it. We see no point to it. And we really feel like God has forgotten us when really that is part of the human condition, right? I say it all the time. Every human alive is in recovery from something. This is not a special attack on you. This is not a testament to your character or your lack of faith. Every human being experiences pain, right? The Bible says it rains on the just and the unjust, right? We're down here. This is a sinful place. This is a trying, difficult place. And so just kind of remembering that it's not a matter of, I'm a poor trash human and this is why this is happening, or God doesn't love me, he doesn't care. Unfortunately, we will experience pain. That is just what it is, every human. But how we move through that pain, how we endure that pain, the purpose we see behind that pain and how we use it, that makes all the difference. And so if you're not quite sure, again, those are some things for me. Those are some lessons that I learned of why God didn't just snap his fingers and kind of take the pain away, which I know he was more than able to do. It created and completed something in me that really, I don't know, would have happened with the speed or the intensity otherwise. Though I know God didn't bring that tragedy to my life, he definitely used it, right, for my good. So if you're not sure why that's the case, if you're not sure why God hasn't taken your pain away, ask him. Ask him to tell you. Pray and connect to him and say, God, I'm really struggling. I'm enduring. I'm doing the best I can. Can you please help me to understand what the work is you're doing in me? Not why did you make this bad thing happen? Because sometimes God has nothing to do with that, right? It's our own choices. It's other human beings' choices. It's randomness in the world. So not why did you do this to me, but, if you're allowing me to feel this, if you're allowing me to endure this, why? What's being done in me? What's the work that's being completed? So I can cooperate and I can participate in that work, right? So you can always ask him. You can also ask him, I would say, for help enduring what you're enduring, because that was very important to me. Like, God, if you're not going to take this, I really need you to step in. This is going to have to be a you thing. Please help me to endure this with some grace, right? And to endure this with my faith intact and stronger, coming out on the other end. And another thing that was helpful for me to pray was, God, can you please change this in your time, and so that was very important to me. And that was very transformative for me, because when I was saying, God, fix it now, fix it now. Not only was I commanding God what he was and wasn't going to do, but also, my mind, it tricked me, right? It tricked my mind into saying, so if he doesn't fix it right now, he's not listening. He doesn't care, right? And so that actually made me feel worse about my circumstances. But when I said, God, fix these things in your time, help me to endure this pain, help it to create something new in me, that was totally different. That was, okay, God, you didn't bring me this pain, but this pain is here. Help me get through it. I know you're going to use it for my benefit. And when you see fit as God, because I know you can do all things, move this out of here, right? Because that says, God, you're sovereign and you are God. And when you say this is done, when you say this hurting is done, when you say this work is complete, it'll be complete just like that, right? So it allowed me to keep looking to him as opposed to commanding him to do something right now because I wanted him to do it right now, and then using his lack of movement as a mind trap, right? That he's not listening or he doesn't care, because that's neither one of those things is true. So the last thing that I want to say is just remember to please be kind to yourself when you're going through this time. It is tricky to endure pain. It is not an easy thing. Even Jesus and David, they said, why have you forsaken me? It's in Psalms, it's in the Gospels, both of those folks we would consider amazing men of God. One, the Son of God, obviously, so obviously amazing. And even him, he said, why have you forsaken me? So it is human to feel like stuff is mounting on me so bad right now. And it's so overwhelming. I feel like you're not there. I feel like you've forsaken me to let me endure this. I don't deserve it. I'm a good person. What's this about? So just remember to be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself. And as much as you can, talk to God, talk with God, and listen, right? Talking to someone means that you occasionally shut your mouth and listen instead of yelling at God, commanding at God, you will fix this now, fix it now, do what I've asked, I don't deserve this. Rather than doing that, really talk with him, commune with him, connect to him, and let this work be completed in you so that he can move you through this pain. So again, as always, if you need me, I'm always here. You can feel free to email me. You can take a look at my YouTube channel if you want some more videos that you can keep up with and keep track with. Let's see, I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I definitely have a website, comealiveservices.com you can take a look at. And then I also have a workbook. So if you're someone who is working through these things and you're actively trying to figure this out, I have laid out in 67 pages, which is a little long, but helpful. And there's lots of blank sheets in there for you to practice the skills. But I've kind of laid out some things that were helpful for me in my journey and my prayers that they'll be helpful for you too. So you can take a look at that and grab your copy of that if you'd like. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and pray us out because we need God, right? We can't do it on our own. And then if you need me, I'm always there. So if you would allow me, please go ahead and pray with me. So dear Lord, thank you so much for blessing us to come together to meet via video today, God. I know that your children have clicked on this video because they are hurting and they are looking for some answers and they are looking for some relief, God. So where they are hurting, I would ask that you would help start to mend their hearts, God. I ask that you would give them strength. I ask that you would give them comfort and allow them to have joy and peace in you, even though they are going through a storm and a difficult situation. And in those times when they feel like their faith is faltering and they don't even know if you're listening or if you care, God, I ask that you would do something to remind them that you are there so that they can see you even in the midst of their darkness, God. And when their peace is going and they feel frantic and they feel frustrated or they feel out of control, God, I ask that you would give them peace that surpasses all understanding, God. And when they feel lonely, alone in this world, like no one understands them, like no one is there, like no one is listening, and that they are in this all alone, God, I ask that you would give them comfort and you would remind them to always rely on you because you are there, God. I ask that you would bring godly, healthy people into their lives to help them move through this. And most of all, God, I ask that you would help them remember to rely on you and connect to you as their source of everything. And God, I ask that you would give them that peace, God, and that joy and that understanding of who you are, God, that you're always there for them. And we know that you're able to do these things, and we thank you so much for it in advance, God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, everyone. So you have a great rest of your day. And as always, if you need me, I am always here. Take care. And remember, you've got this because God's got you.